Yo boys, back with another video. Today we're going to be doing some good old RBGs, and we're going to do this a little bit quick, but not at the same time. We'll see how fast the video ends up going. But this is based off of RBGs, so just like Blitz, it's a little bit different, obviously. Uh, Stealthers are going to be a lot more efficient in RBGs, considering just everything that you can do. You're able to back-to-back cap, which is going to be really good for rogues, really good for boomies, and all that good stuff. Now, there are going to be healers that are usually not in the higher end of spots, but we will see. Now, I am making this video after the sub-rogue nerf. So even with the nerf and RBG wise, it's not really going to affect sub-rogue that much, and sub-rogue will still end up being S tier. But I just wanted to make sure we got that down. Beta wise, sub-rogue did end up getting a nerf. It went from like 60% to 15 on their big like their hero talent or something, where their eviscerates were hitting super hard on like their third one or something like that. It was like you had to hit it on a certain combo point and it was doing a lot of damage. They ended up nerfing it. It's unfortunate, but I'm just letting you guys know. We may see some tiers in the future. But if you guys are interested in carries or coaching or any other service, make sure to hit me up on my personal Discord down below. Otherwise, let's get on to the video. Now, today, we're going to be starting off with tanks. Now, first tank we're going to be going with is Tank Druid, which is going to be your first. And you have two options as a tank, two flag carry, and that's pretty much it. Your first option is going to be tank. Yep, Tank Bear. That is your first. Obviously, you guys have probably seen bears being tanked. Mainly 90% of the time, usually we'll see these guys. It's because they can all spec Boomy, which is, really crucial in RBGs. Even if Boomies aren't insanely overpowered or, they're not as insane as they once were, they're still having a one Boomy in your group, two Boomies is a crucial thing to have. Their amount of their CC, their AoE damage, everything. So, just having this guy alone is going to be, top dog for you, especially on like an orb map or a map where the other team doesn't have a tank, something like that. The next pick that we're going to be going with is Boomy, which is also going to be an S tier. You're just like I said, you have CC, you have AoE damage. You're able to peel really quick, and you're also able to hit bases with your rogue. So you're really going to want to rest a Boomy on your team. Next pick we're going to be going with is going to be Residerd, which is surprisingly probably going to be S tier. My brother has been playing Blitz a lot, so that kind of gives you enough information based on Blitz, how it will be in the RBG, actual expansion. So just keep that in mind. All specs of Druid are going to be good, other than Feral Druid, which I think is going to be the worst of them. It's going to be B tier, maybe um, there's not really much going on with Feral Druid. It's a solo target. Maybe you could treat it as a rogue, but again, it's not really going to be something you see, so just keep that in mind. For the next one we're going to be going with is going to be Warlock. Destro Warlock is going to be A tier. Overall, having the ability to port people and knock them off is going to be really crucial for having like an Ellie on your team or a really anything that can knock. So a priest, an Ellie, something that can physically knock people off. So putting a lock on your team could really benefit you on maps that require, Arathi, Eye of the Storm. So bases like that are going to be really good for you for just being able to knock people. And then on top of that, if you're on Warsong Clutch or something, you can actually port people away from your team. So, let's say they're all going upstairs, at the very top. You can actually port people downstairs, and doing that will make them have to go all the way up. So, you know, that's pretty much that. So it's gonna be good. It's not gonna be god tier or nothing, but it's gonna be solid. You're gonna have really good damage with it, and you will see a good amount of them. I don't think an insane amount, not like Boomy, but you will see a Warlock usually. You'll definitely see at least one. Maybe not in every group, but it depends on the Warlock, I guess. Next pick we're going to be going with is going to be Affy, which I honestly think it's going to be in the same category. It's not doing insane damage. It's not something that's, oh wow, I see an LA, or I see a Affy, we're going to lose the game. Yeah, no, I don't think it's like that. And I think it's the same situation as Destro. It does damage. Is it going to be God tier? Probably not. But are you going to see some? Yeah. For the next spec, we're going to be going with this Demo. Demo's going to be the worst by far out of the specs for Lock. A Demo Lock's usually always in that category for just being mid. and you kind of just can't blame it. It's a mainly a PvE spec in the first place. So for it to be good in RPGs, it would need to be doing a insanely amount of AoE damage, which it does not. So you're probably not going to see a demo lock. Next spec that we're going to be going with is going to be Ellie, which I have a mixed personality feelings about this, if you understand what I'm saying. My multiple personality disorder is telling me that Ellie is going to be God tier, and then part of me is also telling me that it's going to be A tier. So for the moment, I think I'm going to put it in A tier. It did get nerfed, so I'm basing it off that nerf. That it's going to be good. Is it going to be in every group? I don't think so, but I'm gonna keep it there for now. We might end up putting it up as S tiered because you're still gonna get really good knocks. You're gonna get really good AOE damage. You're still doing good. So for now, I think I'm gonna put it as S tier. Honestly, I think you're gonna see a lot of them. Um, I might change this just right now. I don't know. I don't have enough information to base it off of it. People are saying it's still really good, and it's still doing really good AoE damage. Overall, it's going to be really crucial to have one of these on your team, mainly because you're getting a lot of burst damage and a lot of consistency out of them, but you may not see many of them. So I'm gonna, at the end of the day, based on the past expansions and seasons, and say it's not if it's good in arena. I don't think it's gonna be that great in RPGs, to be honest. Next spec that we're going to be going with is going to be Enhancement, which is also going to be B tier. Enhancement kind of just sucks in all regards of everything. RBGs, Blitz, Arena, Solo Shuffle. It's not going to be great. It really doesn't get its time to shine. The only time it gets this, it either one-shots randomly, or you have somebody playing like 15 of them. I think there was this one guy, his name's literally Big Damn, and he literally plays like 15 Enhancement Shamans. You either have people like that, or nobody's playing the spec. So just keep that in mind. It's not going to be all great. You're really not going to see him much. And if you do, it's kind of just, it's not the best. So next pick that we're going to be going with is going to be DK. So Blood DK is probably going to be your number D tier. It's going to be trash, worthless, disappointment, and garbage. Don't even bother it. Unholy DK, I feel like will always be in the situation of a tier. It's going to be like the same situation as Destro. Now, the reason this is going to be A tier is because you want at least one DK on your team, and the reason is having a grip on some maps is going to be really good. Because what's going to happen is you'll see somebody doing unhealable damage just sitting in the back, and for swapping targets, all you need to do as a DK, so you want your DK or you want your warrior, you know, having the target calls going out. So when he has burst or MS or he has grip, where you can grip that guy in, call it out, and you guys stomp that guy into the ground. So having at least one DK on your team, I still think you're going to see at least one in every lobby, almost, just for that grip. I'm telling you, the grips are insane. The grips, the AMZ, the slows that you're able to do, the peeling that you're able to do to stop people from getting to your flag. I still think you're going to see a good amount of them. Are they going to be insane? Probably not. But are you going to see a good amount of them? Yes. Frost DK, I have mixed personal feelings about this, but I think at the end of the day, even if it's OP in Arena, I still think it's going to be trash. Um, it could be good. It could be in the same existence as Unholy DK, but it's so based off a burst that I don't think it's not gonna be able to keep up with other specs. What's gonna end up happening is you're gonna get your one hit glory. Oh, I grip everybody in. I'm doing unhealable dam, and then guess what? After your burst is done, you're gonna get swapped to. You're gonna get one shot like a Windwalker, or you're just gonna be doing the most negative damage off your burst, and everyone's just gonna do 3 times your damage overall because everyone else is doing consistent pressure while you're just doing burst. So I don't think it's gonna be all that great, and just keep that's how I feel about that one. The next one that we're going to be going with is going to be Paladin. Now, HPL, I honestly don't think you're going to see any of these. You're really going to be throwing if you have an HPL on your team. Unfortunately, it doesn't have big AoE healing. It does have okay CDs. The problem is most of your cooldowns are based around helping your flag carrier get across. And as an HPL, you can't bop them. You can lay on hands them and you can sack. They're huge cooldowns and they're not going to do much. So sacks, it's going to be like, okay, well, yeah, okay, I can sack him. Is it going to matter when there's more than 2 people on him? Yeah, probably not. Is Bop going to do anything? Well, you can't even bop him if he has a flag. is land hands going to do something? Yes, land hands will do something, but at that point, wouldn't you just rather have a ret instead of, sacrificing a literal god tier healer? So probably not. You're not really going to see them, and that's how I feel about that. The next spec that we're going to be going with is a ret paladin, which is going to be A tier. You may see a lot of rets, to be honest. I think rets are good for attacking flag carriers in general. Do I think they're great in team fight? I don't think they are going to be great. I think they're going to get hard focused. You're going to get their bubble immediately, and then you're going to absolutely flop them on the ground. It's going to be the same situation as like a Windwalker. However, they're going to have enough pressure and overall cooldowns to help their team. And then on top of that, their burst is still okay and pretty good. So I think overall, this is going to be like an offensive type of class. You're still going to see them. They're really crucial in having on an offensive team. You'll have Bop, Bubble, land hands, sack, you can sink, you can freedom your teammates to get to the person faster. I think just overall, having a ret, just having him there, a good ret that is, I feel like it's going to be okay. I still don't think it's going to be B tier. I think it'll be A tier. Next bet that we're going to be going with is going to be Prop Paladin. Yeah, again, going to be trash. Nobody's going to be playing this. Again, if this is like your last, the only reason these are D tier is I just don't want to put him as C tier because again, don't bother if like I wouldn't even bother queuing if you're forced to get in, with one of these guys. It's just unfortunate that these other tanks are just not meant. But again, if you're trying to tank and you're trying to main tank, you got to be playing a spec that's good in tanking. So, next spec that we're going to be going with is going to be Warrior. So, Fury Warrior is going to be trash. Now in Arena, sure, it's great. The problem is solo target damage is going to be really bad in in RBGs, especially when you're not helping your team at all. At least as a ret, you have AoE. As a DK, you have grip. As all these other classes, you're doing something to help your team overall. As a warrior, you're zug-zugging. You don't really have AoE MS. Sure, you can use your whirlwind to get energy, and that's great and all. But are you going to be doing much damage off your single target damage? Probably not. You're going to pop your burst, do a bunch of damage, and then you're just going to get tripled in damage. I think we all kind of know that. It's kind of like in the same position as Frost DK. So I wouldn't advise playing it. I think Arms is going to be a god tier spec that you'll see in every single lobby. So, in Arms Warrior, I still think it's going to be S tier. Now, even if it's not one-shotting, oh, well, I see Arms Warrior, I'm scared. That's not going to be the case. The reason you have an Arms Warrior on every team is because of the massive amount of MS, and the reason you can put a DK with an Arms Warrior is having that grip MS potential. They can't heal it. So during your MS, your actual big MS strikes, you're going to be killing things. And being able to do that is really crucial. Having a massive MS is really good. So I still think you're going to see at least one warrior in every lobby. Obviously, maybe not in every lobby because lower rated games you may not see them. But I think having an arms warrior, I mean, they're not bad right now. And I still think you're going to see one in every lobby, and that's how I personally feel about it. So like when I was doing RBGs, I always had one arms warrior every single lobby, at least one, just because, just having that MS there is just really nice, even if they're not one-shotting. For the next spec here that we're going to be going with is going to be Prot Warrior. Prot Warrior is going to be trash. Don't bother with it. Waste of time. No point in talking about it. The next spec that we're going to be going with is going to be the one and only Rogue. Sub-Rogue even after the nerfs is going to be S tier. Now putting a Sub-Rogue with a Boomy and putting these two together, or having a tank and a Sub-Rogue hit a base, if these guys are sitting back and you're looking for that opportunity to go hit a base, ghost your base, go in, hit a base, boom. Having one of these stealthies with your rogue is going to be crucial to capping flags on your enemy team, especially since you can't really sap cap anymore. You can't blind cap unless you literally do it on the dot, which is most likely not going to happen. So you're definitely going to want somebody with you, and having Shadowy Duel, having a lot of those cooldowns to where, oh, well, my guy can cap, I can cheap shot, cheap shot, cheap shot. If he trinkets my cheap shot, which he's forced to, then I can instantly blind him. I can gouge him off my cheap shots. So if he doesn't trinket my cheap shots, I can gouge him off it. He has to trinket my gouge, and then off that I can blind him, and you're getting free caps. Or if he trinkets my gouge, I can shadowy duel him. There's just so much utility as a sub rogue that you're gonna want one sub rogue on every single team, and you probably will see one rogue at least. So next spec is going to be Assassination, which I don't think is going to be as good as a sub. due to the fact that hitting a base as sub is going to be 10 times better. The problem is in a team fight standpoint, Assassination is going to overrule by far. So the damage difference in between an Assassination Rogue, he's going to be running an AoE Shiv build, which basically allows him to run up in everybody. He's going to Vanish Garrote the entire team, Rupture the entire team because he's going to have an AoE build, and then he's going to Shiv. What that's going to do is, if you guys have seen in the past when Assassination Rogues were doing unhealable damage, that's probably what it's going to be like. I mean, they got a big buff, so they're going to be doing damage. Are you going to see a crazy amount of these or anything? Probably not. But just keep that in mind in team fights, they may be doing a lot of damage. They're going to die quick like a Windwalker, but still, I still think he's going to be good. Next spec is going to be Outlaw. Outlaw is going to be the spec that is probably going to be not seeable at all. Sure, it may be good. You know, you have grapple and you have ways to get across the map. So maybe I'll put it at low A, only due to the fact that it has grapple and it can get across the map very quick. So if you're looking to hit a base and that guy caps the flag and you want to immediately get across the flag, you know, you want to go get over there as quick as you can, Outlaw's going to be the one that you're going to be going. And I looked at it at a standpoint as, yeah, Outlaw's not going to do much burst damage, but I think for going to hit bases and stuff like that and being able to peel, this is going to be your fastest class almost. I think the grapple is, you're getting super far, super quick, and you know, it could end up benefiting you. Is it going to be S tier? No. Is it going to be high A? No. It's going to be B/A. It's going to be good for hitting bases, otherwise it's trash. So just keep that in mind. This could easily be B tier. I'm just saying in the standpoint of overall, I think it's going to be okay. Next fight that we're going to be going with is going to be Shaman. So Restless Shaman is going to be most likely, I think it's probably going to be A tier. It does good healing, and I hear in PvE it's going to be very good. So usually if a class is good in PvE, it means it's doing really good AoE healing. So I assume Restless Shaman is going to be okay. I don't know how long I'm going to keep it there, though. This could easily be B tier. Restless Shaman's usually not good, but depending on what other classes go here, then we may see. So again, I think I'm more interested with putting it down here with my, you know, my knowledge that I have right now. Do I think you're going to see many Restless Shamans in general? No, I don't think you are. Maybe at the very, you know, again, low rated, start of the expansion, sure, you get what you can get. But do I think you're going to see a lot of them once you get to like 1600 and in week 1 or something like that? No, you're not. So next spec that we're going to be going with is going to be Hunter. Hunter is an interesting spec. Hunter is going to be trash. So MM's great. You know, it's fun to play. It's a simple spec to learn. Do I think it's going to be great? Probably not. It's not really going to be great for hitting bases because you're going to have stealth. Sure, you can do it in the opener. Sure, it could be viable. Yeah, overall, are you going to see a lot of these? Probably not. The only reason you ever see a hunter in the first place is they're literally humping a base. And what's the best spec that you want for humping a base? Oh, that's going to be BM Hunter. So BM Hunters had a trick that they did back in the day to where they set their pets in, like, on the flag. There's a pet that you can run that goes underground. I don't know if they fix this, but I'm just saying. They used to go across the map, and they used to have a pet that kept going underground, and you can never cap the flag unless you killed the hunter. So, I still don't think MM's going to be great for sitting bases. I think your best one's probably going to be BM, just because of your amount of pets that can just AoE while you're running. Do I think Hunter's going to be in general good? No, not at all. So, what I think is going to be is all Hunter specs are going to be trash. Do I think they're going to be good in teamfight? No. Do I think they're going to be good sitting bases? Sure, you can make it work. If you have no rogue, then you're going to sit Hunter. If you have, you know, is it going to be great? Sure, you can make it work. Do I think you're going to see a lot of them? No, I don't. I don't think they have the pressure. I don't think they're good. And in RBG wise, no. The next spec that we're going to be going with is going to be Survival Hunter, which is going to be B tier. And why do we think it's going to be B tier? That's because of the obvious. It's going to die like a Windwalker insanely fast and doesn't even have the pressure as a Windwalker. No, it does not. I mean, yeah, no. I think Serve is just going to be trash. It's not going to do anywhere near the damage as any other class out there. Like, these are going to do a lot more damage than Serve, obviously. So, just keep that in mind. Next pick that we're going to be going with is going to be SP. Do I think SP is going to be good? No, I do not. SP is kind of in a weird situation. I think in arenas it's okay. It's an A tier. It can be playable. Is it good? Is it bad? Who knows? In RBG, it's going to be trash. You're not really going to see these guys. Maybe, if you put an SP, if you're doing a caster cleave or something, sure, having at least one SP on your team could be beneficial. SP, Affy with a Boomy, just having ultimate bleed damage with an Ellie on top of that. Just having random comps like that, maybe it could work. It's gonna be great. No, it's not. So that's pretty much that. Disc Priest, I think is going to be a major play. I think it's going to be S tier. I think it's going to be great, and I think you're going to see a lot of them. It's not going to be God tier, so to speak. Maybe not healing wise. It's not going to be like, oh, well, I'm land handsing every heal. Overall, though, your utility, your healing, you have everything you'd want, and I still think you're going to see one of these guys each game, and that's just how I feel about that for now. Holy Priest, I think we all know about Holy Priest. It's garbage. We don't even have to talk about Holy Priest has really never been good in RPGs, so we don't really have to talk about it much. Next spec that we're going to be going with is going to be Misweever. Misweaver is going to be an S tier spec. Between Wrestler Druid, Misweaver, and Disc Priest, those are going to be your top dogs of the RBGs scenario. The only other class that can compete is going to be Devvoker, just because the amount of AoE healing you're getting is actually pretty solid. But overall, your cooldowns to help your teams is not going to be anywhere near as good as one of these classes. Misweaver Orb, Port, Disc, has a lot of cooldowns. Wrestler is having an overall ton of healing, and, it's going to be great. So, that's how I feel about that. Now, for Devvoker, at the moment, I think I'm going to put it at A tier. Do I think you're going to see a lot of these? No, I think your main three you're going to have one Wrestler, one Misweaver, and one Disc. Or you may have two Misweavers and one Wrestler, or you may have two Misweavers and one Disc. It can really vary. But I think for overall healing, it's going to be Misweaver and Wrestler for like just pure output of healing. Now, for the next class that we're going to be going with is going to be Devvoker, which I think actually currently won't be that bad. The amount of pressure that you're getting off with it is insane. So it is just, I think you're going to be doing a ton of damage, and you really never, this is going to be great for hitting bases or, hitting the flag. So this is going to be like something you'd have on an offensive, lineman. You're taking this guy straight to the EFC, you're popping your cooldowns, and you are exploding that guy to a million pieces. Do I think you're going to see it every lobby? Probably not. But I still think it's going to be up there in the ladder, and I still think you're going to see a good amount of them. Again, this is before huge nerfs, which I assume will be coming. I mean, it would only be fair that other classes are getting nerfed, and Devvoker needs like a 15% nerf or something like that. It's ridiculous. But I think for right now, I'm comfortable putting it at A tier at the moment. Next bet that we're going to be going with is going to be Tank DH, which I think is going to be your secondary healer. Now, between DH and Tank Druid, I think DH is maybe better. If you know how to kite as a tank DH, I promise you, it's probably going to be the number one spec that you see. However, if you don't know, then it's probably not going to be that great. So it really just, depends on who the player is, if they know how to play, and all that good stuff. So the next one that we're going to be going with is DH in good old regular DH. Now, currently it kind of sucks. Do I think it's going to be seen in a lot in RPGs? Right now, currently, I don't think it is. I've seen the damage that they're doing, and it is pretty bad. On their burst, they're doing like 500k, 550. I've seen maybe one go up to like 600k. And overall, do I think they're going to be great? No, but I think that what makes it A tier, and the only reason I think it's A tier, and hear me out, what DH counters one class, and one class specifically, stealthies. Why does that happen? Well, that's one reason. They have an eyeball. What happens with an eyeball is that DH will sit back and watch the boomy and watch the rogue that's not in the team fight. So guess what? If these guys are planning to hit my base, I want a DH looking with their eyesight to see where they're going, when they're going, if they're already there, where they're starting out. Like, just having a DH on your team is going to be really nice to have. I was going to put it at B tier just because the damage isn't all great, but I think just overall, just because of stealthies being the meta, for, RBGs, Rogue, Boomy, Wrestler, just having stealthies in general, I think DH will end up having its plot, spot in that area. Next bait that I think we're going to go with is going Windwalker. Windwalker, I think, will be trash. The reason is, even if it does damage, it has nothing to help. It doesn't help your team at all. Maybe it could be in the same spot as Devvoker. Oh, well, I'll send my Windwalker to hit a base. Guess what's going to happen? he's going to get focused and die in 2 seconds in team fight. They're going to immediately notice that he is underwhelmingly. It's basically like facing somebody with greens, and unless it's a very good Windwalker and he knows how to preemptively use his cooldowns, I still don't think it's going to be great. It could definitely be viable in a in some sense. Do I think you're going to see one in every lobby? No. Do I think it's going to be god tier? No. I think it's going to be in the same category as these other ones. Sure, it does good damage in arena. Sure, it might be A tier, maybe even S tier in arena. But overall, I don't think it's. I don't think it's going to be that great. After seeing the Windwalkers and all that, I don't know. I don't see it surviving like huge damage on them with MS. Next fight that we're going to be going with is Frost Mage, which is going to be A tier. Now, the reason I'm putting Frost Mage at A tier is one factor. It's AoE ability. So not only so right now Frost Mage has a weird thing to where there's no outplay to it, which means if you focus on the mage and he's Ice Lance spamming you with AoE down, you can't actually stop it. So it's not like he has to cast anything to do damage. Otherwise, it would be B tier. Because there's no outplay versus Frost Mage right now. Right now, if you look at their damage on anything, they're doing a lot of damage, and it's just by doing AoE Ice Lances. So in RBGs, I guarantee they're going to be stacking up numbers. Are they going to be S tier? Probably not, because they're doing big damage on the burst, but overall, I don't think they're going to be doing, God tier or nothing. Do I think they're going to be like Ellie and Devvoker? 100%. I think they're going to be popping off at the very start, on the burst, just doing more than overall, and then off the burst, they're still doing good damage. So, you're going to see a good amount of them, and they're going to be great. But again, your main DPSs are going to be arms. You're going to have one arms warrior, one sub rogue, one boomy. One of these classes are going to be in almost every single game that you face. These ones you can kind of just, fill up. So, whatever's the best that you feel like is the best for your comp is going to be the best. Next one that we're going to be going with is Fire Mage. Fire Mage got a big nerf, so it's more about solo target, and it's still, I don't even think Fire Mage is going to be good. Are you going to see them? No. Maybe you'll see one in a Blue Moon, but overall, I don't think they're all great. When they were doing unhealable AoE damage, and it was like, oh my god, this is just crazy. Yeah, they were broken, but now that they got they got nerfed on their AoE, they're back down to garbage. Brewmaster again is going to be probably C tier. Now this is going to be like, just because it's a little bit better doesn't mean it's good. So it's still trash, but it's still better than these other ones. You have, it's at least it's playable, I guess. If you're trying to play a third healer or a third tank, you're playing Brewmaster. I doubt you're going to be playing Prot or Blood or Warrior tank. I think Brewmaster is going to be your third option, but it's going to be, as you can see, garbage. Aug is going to be in the same spot. Aug is the one DPS I don't think you're going to see at all. It's the one class that hasn't been touched in literally like I don't even know the last time the moment they nerfed it, because it used to be a Devvoker, but then they nerfed it. Once it got nerfed, it literally hasn't been seen again. You have not seen this class in a long time. They haven't even they made this class a new class, and they didn't even bother doing anything with it for like the entire expansion. So, unfortunate. Next back that we're going to be going with is also Arcane. Arcane's going to be in the same category as Fire Mage. Are you going to see a bunch of them? No. You might see one in one Blue Moon. They can maybe make something work. It's maybe just for fun. Overall, it's going to be trash. I don't think you're going to see many of them. But that's pretty much the end of this video. If you guys have any opinions on where I should put other things, this is basically the closest I can get to, factual. But based on what I know currently and what I've seen, it's going to be okay. It's not going to be great. But this is pretty much your list. And you guys will have to let me know what you guys think. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace, peace.